Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of Georgia Gwinnett College. Welcome back to the GTP, of course, the Grizzly Talk Podcast report with your host, Kennedy Patterson. And this is, of course, Grizzly Talk Podcast, y'all. You guys have made this thing possible. This is, hate to say it, but the final podcast of 2019. Yes, fellow Grizzlies, this is the final podcast for 2019, and I am so proud and I'm humbled to not only be the founder of this, but to be the host of Grizzly Talk Podcast. You guys make this thing possible. It all started August of 2019. That was about 5 months ago. Well, let's take it back, actually. I planned this back in July of 2019. I thought to myself I wanted to do something very unique for the Georgia Gwinnett College base, in the form of podcasting with that, as of course, because I've done so many other shows before. I've done shows, my personal shows like Luke's Chat Podcast and K.L.P in the morning and K.L.P in the evening. The idea came about because I wanted to expand out. I wanted to not only form an RSO for my last year and a half for GGC, but I wanted to do something very special for the student base. I wanted to let everyone's voice be heard. There's a lot of RSOs out there now that's a part of GGC that, before they're there, but no, not really many students knew about it. So I wanted to do something very special for them. I wanted to let their voice be heard. I want them to help market their RSO or their department or their organization. And you guys have made this thing possible. We've been striving for excellence ever since August. I remember when we first hit our first 100 followers. I thought that was huge, even though that's just 100 followers. And now we're, 1,558 strong, getting ready to go to 1,600. So it's an exciting moment to see the growth of the RSO of GTP. I've done a lot of podcasting before. I mean, I can name a few shout-outs. First ever podcast with Outdoor Adventures and GGC Wesley. That was a spectacular podcast we did. And then we went on down to Olas and Scrubs. And we go down even further to Grizzly Percussion. That was a fun podcast to do. We did a podcast with Nika Williams for Sickle Cell Awareness Month. I don't know if I mentioned Outdoor Adventures, but Outdoor Adventures. And then we go on down to creating GTP Spotlight, GTP Spotlight hit home. Did a podcast with Charlie as part of the Honors Society, Honors Association. Did a podcast for ISA and Student Fashion. And then we've trickled on down to films, like special videos, like the Grizzly 1 Hour Spectacular. That was a fun podcast to do. Podcasts for about 1 hour, and then we also did a video development for that. We were selling shoes. Of course, my shoe line, Swanky Airs, the Grizz ones, hit home to donate to local charities. We also giving the shout outs to our athletic department, whether it's softball, baseball, and soccer. Down to filming the GGC Victory Lap, the GGC Revs Life 9th Annual Fashion Show. That was very fun to do. And down to, of course, interviewing the two wonderful ladies that are pioneering the 2020 vision for the radio show, Felicia and Taylor. That was also fun to do. And now to events, my motivational speech. And we even met a WWE superstar, The Miz. And, of course, that was on our Instagram. And now made a website. The GTP official website is officially out, a link in the bio. And now we're making an official movie that's kind of in inspiration with the location of GGC. So we've done a lot of great things, y'all, and it's all because of you guys. I want this to be known for every student body at GGC who are thinking about doing an RSO maybe in the year 2020. There's going to be a lot of new RSOs that I've seen, and they're going to be developing a lot of new RSOs for the year 2020. A lot of the existing RSOs, they're starting to reform their RSO. They're starting to develop some new things. For all of you guys out there who either is in a department, who is in an RSO, or thinking about developing an RSO, the sky is the limit for you guys out there. Yes. The sky is the limit for you guys out there because, when I first started this RSO, I didn't think this was going to be a hit. I didn't think it was just going to be something this huge. I thought, okay, it'll be an RSO, it's available, it's there, let's do it, and it's out there. But to see that this is a high demand and people are really interested about something like this, and it really developed the way that it should be, reaching out to a whole nother level, it's amazing. And again, I want to thank every student who's following us right now, every RSO that we've got on the panel, and of course, for all the other RSOs that haven't been on the podcast this year, not to worry, we will be coming back in 2020. Of course, year 2020 is going to be epic. We've got a lot of new things coming out for GTP in the year of 2020. We have a huge announcement for January 3rd of 2020 to announce something new that's coming to GTP, a new segment, of course. I'm still wondering what you guys might think it is. What does BTG stand for? Leave a comment if you can. Message us on our Instagram for your guess. But January 3rd is where we're going to be announcing a big announcement, and it's going to be huge for Georgia Gwinnett College. It's going to be amazing. It's just really going to be amazing for that new thing there. I was able to share. This was yesterday. My personal. A little bit about my personal life. Fit and health and wellness is a big part of my life. I work out. I try to work out and stay in shape, and I was able to share a little inspiration about finals week with one of my weight training sessions. And I was able to get personal. I was able to connect my personal life for the GGC family, and that even those photos had a lot of good likes. So. I know I'm doing something right in that aspect. But a lot of good things coming up. For all of you guys who wants to reach out and be a part of the Grizzly Talk podcast family, you guys know the drill. When I first started this, we were recruiting, and we've had some good students to come on the show and help out. But if you are really interested in being a part of something special like this, being one of the highest RSOs at GGC, being GTP, join our family. There's no paperwork. There's no sign up. All we have to do is schedule a meeting, and that's all we need. We don't need you to write a resume. We don't need a cover letter. I don't require all that. We just require your presence and your positive attitude, and creative ideas to be a part with the podcasting world. As the time is now, y'all, we are going to be an ambassador in partnership with the Grizzlies on-air radio station. That's going to be very, very exciting for year 2020, and it's going to be fantastic. I want to give a quick shout out, y'all, to my friend Precious. Huge shout out to her. Precious, if you are listening to this podcast, you are not only the GOAT, the greatest of all time, but you are a great friend that I had the distinct honor to get to know. She's been, and if you guys don't know who Precious is, she is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful girl who helped out with GTP. You guys can see on our Instagram the videography side of things where we were recording our podcast shows. She was a big influence on that. She was kind of the head of the videography aspect for GTP. And I just crowned her, of course, honored her our vice presidency for 2020. Yes. So, Precious, you are amazing. Thank you for making GTP what it is this fall. And I can't wait to see what we do for spring of 2020. It's exciting. It's an exciting time. So for Precious, thank you. I appreciate you. She may not know how much I appreciate her, but I really do appreciate her because she started from day one. Like day one, she was there. So, shout out to you as well. You are amazing, and I hope to see you back spring of 2020. Huge shout out to, of course, Georgia Gwinnett College entirely. Huge shout out to GGC, the GGC family. You guys are amazing. I remember when I first started doing the podcast and going around doing podcasts, a lot of faculty were shocked and surprised that we were doing a podcast. A lot of professors were like, "What? We got a podcast here at the school?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we do. Now we do." So it's a huge impact. Down to going around to the library to just go study. I ran into one guy, one awesome friend who, he's coming out of the bathroom. I'm going to the bathroom in the library, and he stops me and he says, "Hey, you're the podcast dude. You're the GGC podcast guy." And I'm like, what? I'm like, what? I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm the podcast guy. Yeah, that's me. And I felt like a celebrity at that moment because it was so cool to just get that recognition that this fan, this student, this friend who listened to me and listened to me day in and day out with podcasts. It's amazing. Down to the other day where I'm going to take my final, and I had my AirPods in. I was listening to music, and I'm going down the hall, and then I paused my music for something. I did something. I was doing something, and then two students, they were like, "Hey, wait a minute, I've seen him around. He's everywhere. I think he does the podcast thing." I'm like, oh, yes, that's me. I wanted to turn around and be like, yes, that's me. But it just goes to show. It goes to show that the sky's the limit, y'all. You guys are amazing, and I have not been so proud of this project, this organization, for it to grow. Now, with us saying farewell for 2019, that doesn't mean that we're done. That doesn't mean that we're stopping. Of course, it is December. My last final was yesterday, so it's going to be 3 weeks of Christmas break and holiday break. We're still going to be filming, and we're still going to be publishing some stuff on our Instagram, rest assured. But when it comes to the podcast side, honestly, there's not really much to podcast when there's 3 weeks of late December. Everyone's on break, so it's not really much to podcast school-wise for that aspect. But January is when we're going to be coming back for sure, and I can't wait to see the growth of that. So that doesn't mean we're done. That doesn't mean we stop. We're still going to be doing our thing. We're just taking a break. Of course, it's 3 weeks of holiday break, and not much is going on campus when it's holiday break. Everyone's either at home, people are traveling, people are out of school. So I want to thank every single one of you guys who helped make this thing possible. This has been your host for Grizzly Talk Podcast, Kennedy Lucas Patterson. For all of you guys who wants an inquiry of us, please email me at kpatterson2@ggc.edu. My email will always be on, or our Instagram at grizzly_talk. Until then, y'all, you guys have a wonderful, happy holiday season. And as always, I like to say, stay swanky and go Grizzlies. See you guys in 2020.